Mai namaha. Devaya tasmai namaha. Om Shri Ganeshaya namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo namaha. Hari Om. For the last 2 weeks, we have been studying in chapter 3 about the Yajna spirit, how an individual can work with the totality, sacrificing his individual needs, his individual desires, and work unselfishly, cooperating with everyone else for the betterment of all, for the betterment of society. As society progresses, his own personal growth will also be there. He will progress materially, and if he works unselfishly, he will also progress spiritually. And Bhagavan told us how there is a whole cycle of creation where when we take care of nature, nature takes care of us. When we take care of the earth nourishes us. The air and water, if we keep it clean, unpolluted, that benefits us. And all these actions arise from the Supreme Lord, Aksharam. The Supreme Brahman is the origin of all life's actions. And what is the importance of working unselfishly was emphasized very clearly by Bhagavan Sri Krishna. Today, in the first shloka, Bhagavan will finish this topic of working in the yajna spirit, which is part of karma yoga. And then he will take us to a higher level of people who have evolved beyond action to the highest, how they work in the world. So Bhagavan, after talking at our level, then he gives us a higher goal to strive for and tells us the beauty of this highest goal of enlightenment. So we'll start with shloka number 16, chapter 3, shloka 16. You can please repeat after me. Evam pravartitam chakram nanuvartayati hayaha aghayurindriya ramaha mogham partha sajivati. All together. Evam pravartitam chakram nanuvartayati hayaha aghayurindriya ramaha mogham partha sajivati. So Bhagavan says, Evam, in this way, what I have told you in the previous few shlokas, pravartitam chakram, the whole cycle of creation, the whole cycle of karma, and the whole cycle of working with the yajna spirit, which I have told you, Bhagavan says, na anuvartayati. Iha means here in this world, yaha, whoever that person is, na anuvartayati, does not follow what I have been telling you, these teachings of mine. and lives selfishly for me, myself, and I, does not care about society, then such a person is aghayu. He's a sinful person. He commits sin. Why? Indriya Ramaha. He only thinks about his senses. He indulges in the senses, in I, me, and my, and how I can enjoy life, how I can see, hear, smell, taste, touch, eat, experience. Does not care about others, then such a person who is sinful and indulging in the senses, Bhagavan says, Mogham Partha Sajivati. O Partha, Arjuna, Mogham Sajivati. Mogham means in vain, Sajivati. His life is a waste. He's living his life in vain, and he has wasted this opportunity for the human birth. So, very strong language Bhagavan has said that one who does not follow this, he lives a life of sin and self-indulgence, and such a person's life is a waste. He has lost this opportunity to become a human. So as we have seen last week also, there is a whole cycle of creation, like nature. In nature, the sun, the air, the water, all is given to us in plenty for us to live our life. The sunlight, the air, water, all the rain, the earth is giving her benevolence to us. And society also, we get so much from society, so many things from our parents, our teachers, from our co-workers, from everybody. So one who only takes and does not give back, he is breaking the cycle of creation. Cycle is I get and I give, and when I give, I get more than I. So the cycle keeps on progressing. But if I take it and break the cycle and I do not give back, then my life is wasted because it is selfish and only lived for my sense indulgence. That is only thing that a person is living for, how I can enjoy the maximum. And as long as I am happy, I don't care what happens to others. And unfortunately, we see a lot of that happening lately. It's I, me, and my. As long as I get what I want, society can do whatever it wants. I don't care. We owe so much to all the natural forces, to Bhagwan, to the others, that it is our duty to give back. Swami Tejomayananda ji one time was asked, and he came up with a very beautiful expression. He said, most important thing in life is desire management. We have heard of things of time management, resource management, wealth management. But desire management, we have never heard. And that is how do it's not that one should not have desires and one should not fulfill them, but we should know how to manage our desires. Yes, to certain extent, we all need for living. Bhagavan says, Sharira yatra pichate na prasiddhyeta karmana. I have to take actions to maintain myself, my family, and manage my resources, but I have to regulate that my desire should not become overwhelming, where they take over my whole thoughts, my whole thought process, my mind, my intellect, everything is only, uh, you know, spent in in fulfilling my own desires. And what will I get? See, most people ask, what will I get? As we have said, it's more important is what can I give? And so proper regulation of desires, and that should start from childhood. Children, we have kids or grandkids, they should be encouraged to do work around the house, do some do some seva, you know, maybe help in putting away the dishes, cleaning the floor, making their own bed. So children should not be spoiled, but should be expected to participate in the, even if we have servants or if we have extra help and we say, oh, the child is going to spend, it's going to take more time to teach the child. I rather just quickly do it myself. That is a wrong attitude. They should be encouraged because as part of the family, they have to give to the family, and that can be extended to giving to society. So if there is a fundraising project, they should be encouraged to give part of their pocket money, things like that. So from childhood, this can be taught. And if we find that the majority of the people are living like that, the society benefits. But if the majority of people are living selfishly, then society deteriorates and ultimately perishes. And that's, as we had said before, that's what happened to so many empires, the Roman Empire, the Greek Empire, the great empires of that were dominating different parts of the world soon declined because of this selfishness. So if the so I at least should do my part, whether the community does or not. I should do it, A, because it helps me to grow. And spiritually, I feel much better when I give back. And then people say, well, if I only give, then what will others do? Bhagwan is there to take care of us. Whatever I give, I get a lot more back from him in different forms, not only materially, but also spiritually. And for that, I have to reduce my ego. This idea that I'm only here to take care of myself. And that is what distinguishes humans from others, because humans have ability to give back, to serve society. Animals also serve us, cows, they do so much for us, buffaloes, bulls, camels, elephants, in different parts of the world, they are used for different purposes. So we take from society, we must give back. There's a beautiful instance in Bhagwan Sri Krishna's life. He was one time playing the flute, and Radhaji came there and she said, of course, she didn't call him Bhagwan, she just said, Krishna, you always have the flute with you and you're always playing through the flute and you don't have time for me. You spend more time with the flute than you spend with me. So Bhagwan gives a very beautiful answer. He says, oh Radhe, why do I love my flute? Because the flute is empty inside, has nothing, no ego, has nothing. And the flute is available for me to put my breath through her and play beautiful music. That's why I love the flute. So same way we should become like the flute, make ourselves empty and let Bhagwan's breath come through us, let Bhagwan's words come through us, let Bhagwan's actions come through us. So let us be more like Bhagwan Sri Krishna's flute. And that is the message. So Bhagwan says that one who lives in the life in such a way, his life is useless. But one who lives for me is somebody I love. So here the topic of Karma Yoga, not Karma Yoga, but the topic of Yagna spirit is ended. Karma Yoga, of course, will continue through the rest of this chapter. So now in the next two shlokas, he will talk about the man of wisdom. Man, of course, means man or woman, the person, the wise person who is enlightened. How does such a person live in the world? So shloka number 17. Yastvatmaratirev syat atmatriptascha manavah आत्मन्येव च सन्तुष्टः तस्य कार्यं न विद्यते। यस्त्वात्मरतिरेव स्यात् आत्मतृप्तश्च मानवः आत्मन्येव च सन्तुष्टः तस्य कार्यं न विद्यते। Yah tu. So tu, when he says tu, means on the other hand. One is, as we said, the ignorant person. Now, on the other hand, yah means whoever that person may be, male, female, young, old, whatever race, color, whoever the person is, atmarati eva syat. Syat means may he be, may such a person be atmarati, reveling in the self. So whoever that person is, who is reveling, enjoying his own self, reveling in his self. Self here means the consciousness, Bhagwan's presence. So he always revels in his own experience of Bhagwan within, always. And Atma Tripta, and he is satisfied in himself, in the self. Manavaha, whoever that human is, who is reveling in the self, who is satisfied in the self, and Atmani eva cha santushtaha, and he's contented in the self. So he is reveling in the self, he is satisfied, he is content. Why Bhagwan is using three words which kind of have a similar meaning? We'll see. Tasya karyam na vidyate. For such a person, there is nothing to be done. Does not need to do anything. Why does Bhagwan say that? Because we ask that, okay, majority of the people are supposed to work, but are there some people who are an exception to the rule? If there is a rule, we always ask, is there an exception? Is there somebody who does not need to follow this path of karma yoga or this path of yagna spirit? So he says, yes, there are individuals who are very rare, who are so evolved, and their mind is always connected with the Lord within, that they are enjoying the Lord's presence, the self. They are enjoying, reveling in that. They are satisfied and content. Their purpose of life has been achieved. And one who is self-realized, who has become one with that. Self-realized means, see, you and I, we know that Bhagwan is within us, but they constantly live in awareness of that. For them, it is a direct experience of God's presence. You and I, theoretically, we know that, yes, God is within us and he's functioning through us, but they constantly experience the self, which is God. Then for such a person, there is nothing to be achieved because he has achieved his purpose of life. Why this person took birth is been achieved. So, the example they give, similar example, is how to explain these three different terms. See, I'm hungry and I come home and, I'm a young teenager or a youth, and I come and my mother has made some food and I eat and I say, this food we eat every day. I'm hungry, so I eat it. I don't say anything, but I just think, okay, it's the same food I eat every day. And then next day, they order pizza for me. Now I'm very happy. So daba ke khaya, I eat so much that I'm completely full. I say, I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied today. I'm happy. I'm satisfied. So one is I eat because I'm hungry. Other one is, no, sorry, the first one, I'm satisfied. When I eat because I'm hungry, I'm satisfied. My hunger is satisfied. The second day, when I eat to my heart's content, then I say, I am contented. I want nothing more. I'm so full, I can't even have another bite. So, first one is satisfied, second one is content. The third one is after 2 or 3 weeks, somebody asks me, what was the best pizza? You say, that 3 weeks ago, that pizza we had got from the particular restaurant, till today I can taste it. It is so beautiful. My water runs through my mouth. So that is reveling. First one who just ate for hunger is contented. Then is satisfied. The second one is contented. And the third one is reveling. Even days later, he is remembering the taste. So that is the difference between satisfied, contented, and reveling. So when I am in Atma, then I do not need people to make me happy. That is Rati, where I love people. I don't need people to make me happy. I don't need objects to make me happy. I don't even need power to make me happy. So I am beyond all those because I'm always reveling in Atma. So nothing of the world, whether it is people, objects, or power, can give me that same joy. It does not mean that, oh, everything is miserable. No, when there's a happy situation, a person will smile, and if there is a sad situation, he will express sympathy. But inside, because he is enjoying the bliss of God's presence constantly, then nothing in the world can compare with that. This is an incomparable joy, incomparable bliss. What they say of realization is realized masters live in a world which is very different from you and I, even though they live in the same world as you and I, but their mind is always connected with God. And so they have woken up to their higher state of realization. Ramakrishna Paramhans very beautifully said that in life, majority of the people live in Kamini, Kanchan, and Kirti. Three Ks. Kamini, Kanchan, and Kirti. Kamini means the opposite sex. So majority of the people physically, they are enjoying the company of the opposite sex. And for them, that is everything. Then there are some others, Kanchan, who want gold. So wealth, material objects, that alone, is satisfying me. The third kind is kirti, name and fame. They want to get power. They want to be more powerful. Actually, in the Thursday class, they are studying Bhaj Govindam, and that is what Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji tells us, that do not be too infatuated. Of course, we need wealth, we need people, we need some position, name and fame. But do not be so infatuated that only becomes your purpose in life. So Ramakrishna Paramhans said, dependence on Kamini, Kanchan, or Kirti should be less, and more dependence should be on Bhagavan. So they say, can you give an example of such a person? So one of the most beautiful examples is Raman Maharishi. Most of you may have heard of him, but he was a saint who lived in the 20th century, around 1940, 50, 60, up to there. And he was an enlightened sage. He had spent many years in this Tiruvannamalai, is a place in South India, and there was a temple, and under the temple was a cave, and he spent years living there in meditation, in that state. And then when he came out of meditation, he didn't leave that temple. He just stayed there. He said, I found Bhagwan Shiva here. It was a Shiva temple. I'm not going anywhere. And he never left that place. All he would, they were building a small ashram. So he would just supervise that. And that's about it. He just stayed there, reveled in his bliss. And people would come to visit and ask him questions. And if he felt like answering, he would answer. Otherwise, he would stay in silence. But every day, hundreds of people would come there, sit in his presence, leave. Others would come, sit and leave. And majority of them expressed so much joy and bliss just being in his presence that they felt blessed. And even if they had questions, they felt their questions were answered. And so thousands of people benefited from his presence. He did compose a few books and some few, teachings of his, but he just lived in his bliss and people enjoyed and people benefited. In fact, there was a French journalist who came and talked to him once, and he said, "You know so much, why don't you do something? You know, why don't you do something?" And Raman Maharishi just laughed. He never answered because he did not feel the need to explain his presence on this earth, because his presence on the earth was a blessing to the entire humanity, entire earth, entire mankind. In fact, there are so many rishis who are staying in the Himalayas, meditating. They come out, maybe to eat, or if somebody gives them diksha, they will eat and then they will go back. And you may think that these people are wasting their life, but by their presence and their connection with God, the whole earth gets blessed. Even they may not go anywhere, they may not meet any people. Tapovan Maharaji, Swami Chinmayananda's guru. Swami Chinmayananda, of course, was the opposite. After enlightenment, he traveled throughout the world, establishing centers and teaching us. But his guru, Tapovan Maharaj, after enlightenment, he just stayed in the Uttarkashi. And if he used to have very few students, 2 or 3 students would come live with him in extreme simplicity. There were no comforts, nothing. They had to take a bath in the cold Ganga at 4 o'clock. Very strict teacher he was. And he didn't want to travel throughout and spread his knowledge. He was content just being there. In Uttarkashi, in Bhagwan Shiva's presence. And whoever came, if they could, stay, tolerate all those harsh conditions, he would teach them. But he needed only one Swami Chinmayananda, so that millions of people, have benefited from his teaching. So the point is, these great souls don't are different from you and me. They just revel in their bliss. And if they can, if somebody wants to learn, they can learn, but they don't feel the need to go out and accomplish. You and I feel that by getting this, I will be happy, or by doing this, I will be happy. They said, no, they don't need to do anything. And that we will talk about in the next, that what do they do then? If they just sit there, what do they do? Do they do anything or not? So Bhagavan had said in the 17th mantra, Tasya karyam na vidyate. They do not need to do anything. They do not feel an urgency to do anything. So he says, why? Why not? So in 18th shloka, we'll do that. Naiva tasya krite narthaha na krite neha kaschana न चास्य सर्वभूतेषु कश्चिदर्थव्यपाश्रयः नैव तस्य कृतेनार्थः नाकृते नेह कश्चन न चास्य सर्वभूतेषु कश्चिदर्थव्यपाश्रयः. So, na Aiva, not at all, tasya, of such a person, kriten arthaha, he does not feel that I need to do anything to make me complete. We will talk about that. Na akriten iha. Iha means on this earth. Kaschana, not at all. By not doing. That by not doing something, I will miss out. See, you and I think, by doing something, oh, I will be happy, I'll be famous, I'll be known. And if I don't do something, then maybe I'll miss out, or maybe I'll lose something. If I get something, I will be, fulfilled. If I don't get, so for them, there is no such thing. If by doing anything, I am fulfilled, or by not doing. Either way, they don't. It's a very strange world, strange way of thinking, which for you and me is very difficult to understand. So, so by doing or by not doing, I'm not going to get fulfilled. Na cha asya sarva bhuteshu. Asya, of this person. Na cha means and not. Sarva bhuteshu, and all beings, all animals, birds, plants, fish, humans, from all, mostly humans, sarva bhuteshu, na kaschid artha vyapashraya. Kaschid artha means they have no need for anybody to ashraya. So they don't depend on any people to make them happy, or to give them something to make them complete, or by not giving, I'll become incomplete. They don't have. If a person comes and talks to me nicely, wants something, if he can, he will give it. Otherwise, if they are happy even by that, you and I feel I am alone, I have nothing to do, I have 2 hours. So what do I do? Pick up the phone, call somebody. Hi, how are you? I haven't heard from you. No, I have no purpose to call, to talk, but because I am getting bored for 2 hours, I have nothing to do. Either we are on the phone or we are chatting with people, either on text or email or Instagram or Facebook or all so many other uh, means we keep to keep our mind engaged. That's why there's so much stress, because the mind is never given a chance to rest. We tell somebody, sit here and do nothing. Person can't do that. He can't sit and do nothing. He says, I have to have something to do or someone to talk to. So, so that their mind is all the time running, racing to get something, or, like that, or to meet. So for a wise person like that, he says, if I get something, I'm happy. If I don't get, I'm still happy. If a person comes to meet me, I'm happy. If a person doesn't come, I can stay by myself, revel in my own bliss. So doing or not doing does not give him any additional benefit. Like I said, by doing, he doesn't feel that I will gain. And by not doing, he doesn't feel that I will lose. And there is no person in this world who can make me happy, because he is with God all the time. How can an ordinary person make him happy or unhappy? Even though some of these wise people were persecuted by society and treated badly, but they never lost their faith in God. There's a very beautiful mantra in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. I'll repeat that. Atma cheta vijaniyat tasya tasya aham sapurushah tadartham. No, atma chetam vijaniyat ayamasmi iti purushah kaschad artha. So I sort of, sorry, I forgot the shloka. I had remembered it this. Anyway, so one who, I'll just summarize this shloka. So one Purusha, this individual who thinks I am Atma, who knows I am Atma, Vijaniyat. See, there's a difference between Janiyat and Vijaniyat. Jan means to know, like you and I say, okay, I am Atma, I am that self, I am that, I am Brahman. We use all those phrases freely. But do we really know that? Do I really experience that I am that supreme reality? We don't. Intellectually, theoretically, we have heard, but they don't have direct experience of that. But these enlightened masters who constantly live in this feeling that I am that Atma, I am that Atma, that Brahman, that consciousness. So he says, why should a person shariram anusvanjare, one who lives in that, then what is the desire that makes him torture the body? Why does he make the body work? Why does he make the body do anything? So as we said, if there is some work to be done, the person will do it. But again, he does not need any work to make him complete, does not need any person. So he says, why should this person torture his body to go out and do things? Oh, do this to make you complete, do not do this. It's a very, very powerful mantra that one who, see, you and I, we are constantly using the body. I want to do this. I want to do that. I don't want this. I don't want that. But if I am contented in the self, then this person will stay and, take whatever is necessary for maintenance of body, he will do. And, and the world cannot give him happiness. That is the unusual thing about such person. It is like, say I have graduated from university, I have done my master's and my PhD, and then somebody tells me, there is a new college opened. Why don't you go there and do undergrad again? I've already done master's and PhD. And somebody says, do undergrad. Why would I do that? I have long ago graduated. So these person have long ago graduated from the way we think. And for them to come down to our level is not essential. I mean, they come down to teach us, like this PhD student will go to an undergrad class to teach them how to become masters or PhD. So same way, these masters may come and teach us if they wish. Some of them do, some of them don't. Like Ramakrishna Paramhans was a temple priest. He just stayed in the temple. He didn't go anywhere. But his student, Swami Vivekananda, traveled throughout the world in his short life and taught so many people that today people, even till today, people get inspired by his words. So once they have reached that level, they may or may not work. As I said, Swami Chinmayananda, Swami Vivekananda spent the rest of their life traveling and teaching, but others don't. It's like parents, they are playing, say, Monopoly with a child, and they're playing Monopoly and they know it is fake money. So they are playing and the child is playing and the child is very excited. I got this new house. I paid 40,000 rupees or $10,000 or whatever. And then I got this hotel and he's very excited. But the parent knows that this is all fake money. There are no real hotels, no houses, no money. So he plays the game with the child with the full attention. But for him, it's not important whether he loses or wins that game. But for a child, it's very important. Oh, I beat my father, I beat my mother. So they are like the parents and we are like children. For our entertainment, they will function in the world, but they have nothing to gain or lose from this world. Just as the parent has nothing to gain or lose from monopoly, but the child has. So we are like that, children. And why are objects not important to them? Because they have discovered the subject, the I. And once you have discovered the I, the subject, and you revel in that, if objects are there, it is fine. Not that the person, if you give him some food, he won't eat. But if I get good food, fine. If tomorrow somebody doesn't cook and I don't have food, I am still fine. Or at the most, I eat some fruits, go to sleep. So objects cannot give him happiness because he has discovered the subject. And that is a very, very important point to understand. To understand who am I, the subject is the goal of life. The goal of life is not to acquire more objects, more power, more friends, more name and fame. The object of life is to know who am I. And that is the teaching of all the Upanishads, of all the great scriptures, Brahma Sutra, even Bhagavad Gita, Bhagwan, many times he talks about the man of wisdom. And for such a person, he has no bhoktritva. Bhoktritva means feeling of enjoyment. And then because of that, he has no kartritva. He has no doership. If I will get joy in something, then I will go for it. Like you and I, we get joy in doing something, then we do it. But this person says things again cannot give me joy. So I have no doership. If he has no enjoyership, he has no doership. So that is the beauty of this person. And society cannot manipulate him. Society cannot influence him or teach him or, change him. He changes society. These great masters, when they come, they have such a great impact on society. Look at Tapovan Maharaj, Swami Chinmayananda, Swami Vivekananda, Ramakrishna Paramhans, Shankaracharya ji, Jesus, Buddha. All these great masters came and they asked nothing from society. Did Jesus have any great house or wealth? Nothing. Buddha lived like a monk. All of these great saints and sages don't have a penny to their name when they give up their body. But millions and of people have benefited by their presence. So that is the glory of these masters, that their life becomes an example to all of us, and their teachings last for thousands of years. The Upanishads were written several thousand years before Christ, and still their teachings are valid. Bhagavad Gita was again few thousand years before Christ, but still we study it. Why? Because these teachings guide us, they help us. So that is the glory of these masters, and that's what Bhagavan says, that such a person should be a role model. So then Bhagavan will end today with, Bhagavan says, Tasmat, therefore. Therefore means now all that I have told you, therefore, how should you live? So having understood everything, therefore, Bhagavan after every few shlokas will use the word tasmat. Means, okay, because of that, this is what you should do. So let's do shloka number 19, the last one. Tasmad asakta satatam karyam karma samachara asakto hyacharan karma paramapnoti purushaha. All together. Tasmadasakta satatam karyam karma samachara asakto hyacharan karma paramapnoti purushaha. Tasmat, therefore, asakta satatam. Asakta means unattached. See, again and again, Bhagavan emphasizes this issue of attachment, and we'll see why. Asakta, without attachment, satatam, all the time, karyam karma. Karma means the duties which are karyam, which are your obligatory duties. So again, Bhagavan is now coming down to our level. He has spoken about the highest. Now he's coming down to our level, how we should live to reach that state. See, we ask Bhagavan, how can I get there? So he says, work without attachment constantly and do your obligatory duties. Samyak achara. Samachara means samyak achara, means do your duties well. It's not that ठीक है, nothing is important, I don't need to do it. No. Once you have been assigned a job, or once you have taken up a job, or whatever your position is in family, as a father, mother, as a child, as a grandparent, or in society as a doctor, engineer, lawyer, whatever, as a housewife, whatever work I have been given, whatever station I have been placed in, do it well. Either don't take it up. If you take it up, then do it 100%. And that is very, very important. People, their own work, when they are going to get paid and money, that work they will do very well. But when it comes to working for society, today I'm busy. I don't feel like going. Today I don't feel well. Today I woke up late. So they have signed up for some community project where they are not going to get paid, and they'll find every excuse. ठीक है, आज गए नहीं, कल नहीं गए. What does it matter if I go today, if I don't go tomorrow? I'm not going to get paid anyway. No, he says, whatever job you have been assigned, wherever you have been, do your duty samyak achara. Do it very well, with full attention and with detachment. Asakto he means indeed. Asakta, one who does work without attachment. Acharan karma. So one who does his duties without attachment, with complete focus. Param apnoti purushaha. This purushaha, this person, param apnoti, gets the highest, supreme goal of life. He accomplishes. So again, karmas cannot take us to the highest, but when we do our actions with full attention, honestly, unselfishly, without attachment, then the mind becomes purified. When I'm working for others, without I, me, and my, what will I get? Then with a pure mind, when a person studies the scriptures, his mind can abide in that teaching, abide in that knowledge, and with that pure mind, he can progress to the highest. That's why all these masters, when you see them, they are so simple, they are so peaceful, they are so calm. And in their presence, we feel peaceful, we feel calm. So Paramapnoti, he can attain the highest. So Bhagavan says that this Karma Yoga will take me to the highest. So what do we mean by attachment? And what do we mean by detachment? Attachment is I, me, and my. That by getting this, I will be happy and my life will be complete. Gurudev says I plus I want is attachment. I, because we always say I and I want. That's it. That's the extent. So one who has I and I want gets so dependent on objects, people, situations to make him happy that he's constantly dwelling only in that thought. But one who is detached and says, yeah, theek hai, if somebody is with me, I'm fine. If somebody is not with me, I'm fine. If an object I have, I'm fine. I'll enjoy. If I don't have, I'm fine also. So the ability to remain detached through all situations in life, because life will give us joys and sorrows, success and failure, some loss and some gain, all those things will happen. But a person who can remain calm and detached in all these, such a person is ready for the highest knowledge. And how does this person work? He works as an instrument of God, like that flute. He is always available, and whatever work he accomplishes, he says, God did it through me. I am an instrument. I did not do anything, but it was God alone who accomplished through me. So he doesn't have any feeling of doership, any feeling of any great achievement, because God is doing everything. I'm just his instrument, just as somebody is using a scissor, the scissor doesn't decide what the scissor should cut. The lady operating the scissor will decide. So same way, when I am an instrument in God's hands, then what God wants, that I do, what will make God happy. And then God is always ready to protect this person. There's a very beautiful example I heard that in South India, people carry luggage on their head. Luggage means like say the farm, like a farm worker is carrying, or a farmer is not very rich and he's carrying all his grain and whatever he has grown, to the town to sell. Or a woodcutter has cut wood and he's carrying a heavy load of wood or grain or vegetable, something that he has to take to the market to sell. Now it's a heavy load and it's hot in the summer and he's walking on barefoot on the street and he gets very tired. He's exhausted. I can't walk anymore. I can't carry this load on my head. It's too much pressure on me. So interestingly, what they have done, of course, nowadays people go by truck and bullock, all those things. But in the olden days, people used to carry stuff on their head. So they have built parapets. They are like, stone little pillars on the side of the road, which have the height approximately of an average man, average human. So they have built this stone like a platform, on a pillar. And so when this person gets to that and every, say, 100 or 200 yards, they have built these, or a quarter mile or something. And so when this man gets to this parapet and his head is tired, he can't carry anymore, he will stand next to it and slide that luggage, what he's carrying, from his head onto the parapet. And then he will sit down there and he will wait, because now the load is off his head. So half an hour, 20 minutes, he'll drink some water. Maybe he has some food he will eat. And then once he's refreshed, then he gets up and slides the load back on his head and goes on. And that way he reaches the market or whatever. So they say Bhagwan is like that parapet. When I'm working, as long as I can work, it's fine. I keep on working. But when I get tired and I say, God, I can't work anymore. I can't do this anymore. I am helpless. I am tired. Bhagwan says, put your load on me. I will hold it for you. Bhagwan is always there to help us, to guide us, to take all our burdens, provided we are doing his work honestly, sincerely. And then we rest for a while, and then we say, okay, now I am ready. I can take my own load. And Bhagwan says, okay, here it is. So Bhagwan is like that parapet. So that is the beauty of this path, that God is always there. And all we have to do is turn to him and ask for his help, ask for his support. And he is always ready to help us, to support us. It's a very, very beautiful example I read in some book. And so that's what uh, this beautiful teaching is, that work with the attitude, put in all your effort, but remember God is there. You're doing his work as his instrument, and work for his pleasure. And once you do that, once you work with that attitude, your mind will become pure. I will have no doership, no selfishness, no ego. And then such a person can then evolve to that, what we heard in 18 and 19, where they become so self-contented, self-fulfilled. They are always reveling in the self, that the world cannot give them anything or take away from them anything to make them unhappy. It's a very beautiful state that these masters live in. And you and I wherever Bhagwan has given us these examples, like he in second chapter, he talked about Sthita Prajna. Same thing, that these examples of these evolved souls are given to us so that we may reach that state. So that is like our example that has been given to us, a role model. Just as a boy who's learning to play cricket, he will try to be like Sachin Tendulkar or Gavaskar, or a football player throwing the football will try to be like Joe Montana, or any all of these, Tom Brady, all these great quarterbacks, great swimmers, people who learned swimming, they want to be like Phelps, Michael Phelps. So all these examples are given to us so that we may also reach that state. So I'll end here, and then next week, Bhagwan will tell us how these people are role models and how they can be useful in our life. So little more practical teachings will be there. Next week we have time, so if anybody has questions, please feel free to ask. Everybody's unmuted. Amit, if we can put it on gallery view, you can please do that. I don't know if I can do it or not. Yeah, there. Okay, everybody's on there. People are in the audience also at the mission, and also a lot of people on Zoom. So please feel free to ask any questions or add anything in person, or you can unmute yourself and add any comments or questions. Anything you agree, disagree with? Kusum, yeah, go ahead.
Thank you for the beautiful discourse. You were saying about the attachment, and the attachment can be decreased also. We have attachment because we have so many desires. Right. So if we reduce the number of desires, the attachment also automatically gets down. And because of the ignorance that we have about not knowing ourselves, we have that ignorance which leads us to have desires to make sure that we are fulfilled, which we do not know that we are already fulfilled. And that leads us to the karma and all the attachments. So to break that attachment, I think to decrease the desires is the first thing that we should do. And that's why these Mahatmas, they don't have any desires, and that's why their work is just fulfillment of the doing the work rather than wanting to get anything or losing anything. So I think that's what I get from this. And the last example you gave for how God takes our Lord, I remember chapter 9, it says the Ananya Shintayo Mam Jana Paryupasate Tesham Nitya Yuktayam Yogakshem Vahamyaham. So in that, the God says same thing as you said, that if you give him and surrender to him, then he will take all your load, for getting what you, because we are all doing is getting something and preserving that. So yoga and shame. So he said, if you surrender to me, I will take care of that. So I think that also will reduce our attachment and our desires, because God is going to be, giving us whatever we need that we deserve, rather not what we want. So I thought this is very beautifully done in all these four slokas. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, that shloka now I remember from Brihadaranyaka. Atma chet vijani yat ayam asmi iti purushaha kim icchan kasya kamaya sharira manusanjvare. One who knows I am Atma and knows it very well, then kim icchan, then he has no desire, nothing to fulfill. Why should he torture his body to go here, go there, run around? So that Thank you, Kusum. In the at Gokul, anybody has any questions to ask or anything to add? You see, see them unmuted.
Can you hear us, Mehta ji?
Yes, yes. Just speak a little loud in the mic so we can.
Yeah, can you hear us now?
Yes.
Okay. Hari Om for everybody.
Hari Om.
So what I learned today is evading cosmic cycle of selflessness will lead to a sinful life.
Hmm.
A self-liberated soul will does not is not bound by karma. Live or a self-realized soul, I can say, is not bound by karma. And liberation is achieved by not being attached to the actions. Then I guess the duty, act selflessly for the sake of duty.
Yes.
This is what I kind of learned today from these slokas. Thank you.
Thank you. Very well summarized. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Anybody else at Gokul or on Zoom? Please feel free to unmute.
Anil ji,
Yes.
how would you advise a person who is now old and physically weak to serve the society?
Okay, if the person is old and physically weak, yeah, he cannot go out and work. But there are certain ways. One is that the person should work for their own enlightenment. See, if I'm old, I'm not able to work, at least I'm able to read, I'm able to study, I'm able to listen to talks, lectures. So keep on listening, but as if any individual evolves through life, becomes spiritually evolved, that is itself a service. We think that only the person who goes out and digs a ditch or works for, building a house for the poor. No, even when I grow spiritually, when I evolve, get closer to God, we create an energy field around us that can benefit society. So that is the number one. The most important thing a person can do who is physically not able to, who is getting older or old, spend the rest of my life in reaching God, in knowing God, in learning about God. So that is number one. That is the duty of every one of us. But maybe some of us can still work. If you are not able to work, do that. Just grow spiritually, become closer to God. What will happen is in your surroundings, there will be a positive energy in your house, among your grandchildren, among the people who come to meet you. So that is number one. Number two, say if we are financially comfortable, then sharing like Umaji, every month Umaji sends us a check to the Chinmaya mission. So that is another way, financially, if you are able to even give a little bit, it doesn't have to be thousands of dollars, but whatever you can give to a good organization, like that is another way you can serve society. You don't necessarily have to. Then the third is that if you have some knowledge, if you can share it. Say if you know something and suppose somebody comes and says, okay, what are you studying in Bhagavad Gita? You share with that person, this is what we are studying. Or maybe if you can give them books, if you, some people, you can buy Bhagavad Gita books. We have books at our Chinmaya mission and all the good places. You can buy books and distribute them. You can share the knowledge. So you can share them with with your knowledge, you can share them with your evolution, with your money. And so there are many ways a person can help. Service only does not mean you have to go out and build something, but I can become a positive role model in my community, in my family. And that is how one can serve. Just even being a positive role model that people look up to them, that say, oh, this person did so much for their evolution, that also can be. So I think these are the ways I would think one can serve. Does that make sense, Umaji?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for a good question. Very nice question. I had to think to answer that.
Thank you.
Also to pray for the other people when you can't do anything. That also will send the
Right.
positive vibrations and send the vibrations of love to everybody. Like Gurudev said, even if they are far away and you send the vibrations of love, people get it around it, even if you cannot physically do things.
Thank you. That's a good point. Okay, I think it's 12:10, so we'll end here. Those who are in the mission, please go into the hall and you can join the bhajans. And I'm sure that they have lunch, so please stay for lunch. And the rest of you, thank you for logging in. We'll see you next week. We are doing a fundraiser for the fire victims. If somebody wishes, you can send a check to the mission or Zelle. By Zelle, you can donate. So, and whatever money we collect, we'll send it to a appropriate organization that is doing good work. We'll investigate before we send it. So I'll end here. Thank you. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you very much. Hari Om.